Would you like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre- and post-show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. Thanks to all our patrons for their support in making this podcast. It's Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
Welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Indeterminate Length, episode number 792. And guess what, folks? It's that time of the month where I can never find the thing. There it is. Time for this. So, you know me, I don't make titles for my part of this segment straightforward. I try to make an interesting title. And the thing is, I realized after making this title that there's a possibility that a lot of people will not understand this because they're too young, which makes me feel a whole lot older.
I mean, don't we already talk a lot about age? So,
Yes.
Daddy.
I mean, I'm almost 45.
yes.
Anyways, I want to get away. I want to fly away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For those of you who don't know, there used to be this guy a long time ago called Lenny Kravitz who had a really popular song called I Want to Fly Away. This is lyrics from that song.
I hate that you have to say a long time ago, and I wonder, it can't
I swear
be
to
that
God,
long
it's
ago,
like,
but I feel like it is.
I think it was
I
like
think you're
late
right.
90s, early aughts.
Son
It's
of a
gotta
bitch,
be
it was
like-
1998. God damn. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, we're almost coming up on, 30 years? In 2 more years? Did you backstart moving?
Yes.
27 years ago, before
Oh.
some of you were born.
Oh. Fuck. Anyway.
Quick side note, I would like to say that all of us have moved into different types of rooms. Gary's is completely empty. Except for some some curtains.
He's moving. He's moving. It's just packed up in the...
Or he's moving into a new place. This is brand spanking.
There we go.
Right? You know, he just hasn't set everything up. The boxes are on.
Or I Marie Kondoed this shit and I got rid of everything.
See, there you go.
I'm like, if it doesn't give me pleasure, then it needs to go.
And
Therefore, my home is vacant except for a microwave and a fridge and a stove.
And it's not a fridge. It's just one of those like small beverage fridges.
No. It's a full-size fridge. I'm making room for the men that need to be in my life.
There you are.
Anyways,
Damon,
I can see how well they went over with the two of you.
Damon's a little more furnished, but then I have this entire thing behind me.
Yes. You've got the open concept. You've got the open
Damon's
concept.
like one's too empty, one's too full, the other's just right. See, we're the 3 bears.
Haha.
There you go.
Nice.
Anyways, last month, it was crazy, man. A lot happened there was a lot of, you need to get this done in this this much time, just the shit hit the fan where I had to do a whole bunch of things. We even had somebody who got sick and tired of HR bullshit and just flat out quit. And she was really good too. I'm just kind of sad to see her go. But it was just complete and utter craziness and was quite stressful. So it's like, I can't wait until I can take my staycation. And of course, they still have not approved my staycation, which is at the end of the month. And I would like them, and I gave them 2-3 months worth of time to approve it. It is over Labor Day. And in my line of work, we still work on holidays. We get paid extra for working on holidays, but we are still working on holidays. So, I don't know. I would just like them to say, yeah, you're approved because you were the first one to ask for these days off or something, because it was so far in advance. And take my leave. It just happens that I'm the one who is the point of contact for a major partner at my job. So, and being the major partner of this, or point of contact for this partner, which has a lot of complexities, I'm gonna be like, look, I'm not gonna even be leaving town, but I'll just leave my ringer on. Just text me. I'll help advise remotely. That's fine. Not like I'm going anywhere. So,
It's a staycation.
But yeah, I just can't wait until I get my staycation at the end of the month, where I can putz around and maybe even do some adulting stuff that I should be doing more of.
Right.
But at least it will be time I'll be able to relax, not really have to worry about anything. Just be able to breathe. I need a break. I need a vacation. Haven't taken one to make sure that I have plenty of time PTO so that I can take the vacation and still have some left over just in case.
Right.
So, responsible vacationing, especially for somebody who's not very social homebody.
Even though you're like I'm not going anywhere kind of thing, you still should have the opportunity to take the time off, especially one, if you have it available, and two, you have requested it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
That
I'm
part.
getting it. I have no doubts on it. I would just like them to actually formally approve it so I can put in my time and be like, cool, that's over. I'll be able to not be here for 2 weeks.
Right.
Jeff's in that phase of, I need affirmation.
Yes.
Give me what I need.
Please just do that, because that's what I need. I
25
need
years
you
old. I feel like I have less health problems than a lot of the people in my team who are much younger than I am. And all I want is a vacation. I'm the only one who's ever actually on work on time consistently. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Other fan. Damon.
I think both are applicable in this case.
I do too.
Yeah, it's
shady facts.
It's like, I am spilling the tea, as shady as it may be.
Like it's both. It's both. But I
because it's very 100. It's very like on point. I have receipts. Thank you very much.
It's like I will come in. I get to the office but I always leave my apartment an hour before I need to be at work. It doesn't take me an hour to get to work, even in
I
heavy
was just gonna
traffic.
say, because you're psycho.
And then I sit in the parking lot and watch like YouTube videos for a bit. And about 10 minutes before my scheduled start time, I go in, quickly stop at the cafe, pick up a cinnamon roll and a beverage, and then go up, pull out my keyboard and mouse because they don't have a nice keyboard and mouse for me to use, just my laptop.
Mm,
So I would prefer to use my own keyboard and mouse. I don't leave it there
fair.
because um,
I wouldn't.
it's two Apple products.
And it's
I
also
actually
yours.
use it for my personal MacBook too.
Yeah, it's
Right.
also yours. Like
also
it's
mine.
mine. Like I bought this.
paid for this.
Like
I'm not leaving this, despite the fact it is a secure place, and I'm pretty sure that if I leave it there, I don't have to worry too much about it.
I don't care.
No, you don't know my
Mhm.
company.
Well-
They are overly secure.
No. I don't mind it. No, I'm fine with over security. I'm fine with all of that. But the fact that I bought this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking it with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a keyboard and mouse that I use with my work laptop that I keep here in the office. If I were going somewhere, I would take it with me. I
Mhm.
sure as hell am taking it out with me because it's mine.
Yeah.
If
And-
you had given it to me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's like,
I'm
no,
pretty
I
much the
totally
same-
agree. That's
I agree too. But knowing where I'm working, the fact that sometimes, because of various reasons, some people are locked out of our section of the building because they took a leave without pay and they need to submit a leave and reporting form when they return, which has to then be approved, which sometimes, because of HR, and this is why the one gal had got fed up with it and just quit, are slow, or the fact that they only have one HR person for over 1,000 people right now.
mm,
And it's a god awful pain for somebody to put in their leave or any type of leave in, because you have to log into a remote client and then log into the site because you have to be on the network, and it's so hard to apply for these leaves, especially considering the remote access sometimes doesn't want to play nice. It's
sounds like they need a backup method.
honestly, I think they need to get with the times and probably loosen a few springs, because I think they're being way too secure on some things. Because I've never
That's awesome.
worked at any place I've ever worked has never been this hard to request time off or log time off or anything like that.
Yeah.
And this whole leave and reporting form, when you come back from certain types of leaves for certain periods of times, depending on the type of leave, it's like, I've never heard of that before. I'm like, it's like, I think this is completely and utterly ridiculous. They're making things way too complicated for their own good. So,
Yeah.
I will say, if anybody asks if working for the company I work for, if somebody should work with them, I would say at your own risk. I would advise not to, because there's probably much better companies that make things a whole lot easier and still be secure. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the company I work for or that pays me, but I like my job because I'm working for a client, and that job with the client is great. I like it. I enjoy it, kind of, sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so stressful month, but otherwise, same old, same old. Demon.
Hey, so 20 plus years coming is what I wrote down. So it's been a while. Um, and and it's been a while, like 20 such years.
Hmm.
Um, I have been avoiding it because it's a fear, and I will own that it's a fear. I decided to go to the dentist. I haven't been in 20 plus years, probably since college, if I'm remembering correctly. But I'm thinking I'm blocking memory, so it could have even been longer than that. And for a long time, it wasn't an issue. I'll put it like
Mm-hmm.
that. But recently, within the past couple of years, age is a thing, and um, I was noticing issues and things going on, and in particular, I knew I had a cavity, a pretty big cavity, and it was it again. It wasn't. How do I want to say this? It was bad, but but I was also probably avoiding things. So I had been hearing on the radio here in town. There's a place called Advanced Industry. I don't know if they have places elsewhere. I just know that here they're called No Fear Dentists, and what they do, their specialty is essentially they do IV sedation. So they can knock you out with sedation, and then they can take care of months, years of dental work. Um, and I have been hearing them. And a year or so ago, actually last year, I specifically chose dental insurance to potentially go to this place because that was my goal. My plan was, if I don't make the choices to make it happen, it was never going to happen. So, um, I had an appointment in June to go. They do a free consultation. They take X-rays and um, a bitch ton of pictures of your mouth, and then they go through and they provide basically a initial suggestion of things that they feel you need to do or need to get done. For me, it was removing all four of my wisdom teeth. The cavity was in my wisdom tooth on this side.
Mm.
Um, like deep cleaning, which if you haven't been to the dentist in 20 plus years, is a lot. And then I had another smaller cavity and another tooth on this side, and they gave me a filling. So I had to get that scheduled. Got that scheduled for this month. Since it's IV sedation, you cannot go on your own. You have to have someone, take you there and, or at least be willing to pick you up. You have to have arrangements for a pickup. So Jim
Mm.
took the day off work, got me there in the morning, and I can tell you, uh, I remember going. I remember getting in a chair. I remember like meeting with the dentist, getting everything set up, and then I remember being home. Um, that's it. I mean, with like gauze in my mouth because obviously I needed gauze to,
Mm-hmm.
for the four holes in my mouth, and yeah. So I had a follow appointment a couple weeks ago. I have another appointment here for the cleaning after everything. And I am happy that I've done it. Um, I'm good and bad about not remembering any of it. Um, I don't think anyone really likes having a gap in their memory, um, especially of this size, because it is hours.
Mm.
Um, but um, hearing from Jim, I was awake and aware ish, but I genuinely do not remember anything until I was sitting on my couch um, after we had gotten home. We went and picked up medication at the Walgreens near us. I had enough lucidity apparently to check in because I check in on my Swarm app wherever I go. So somehow, even though I don't remember being in the drive-through getting the medication, I did that. Don't ask me why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and it's good. I know that there's more work probably that will need to be done. And I'm hopeful that this is the step in a new direction. The bad news is this location is all the way across town. It is the closest to me is in Fairfax, which is if you look at Cincinnati, I'm on the west side. I'm doing trying to do backers. I'm on the west side, and it's over here on the east side. So I have to go all the way through town,
Mm-hmm.
up and around town to get to it. And so it is a trek, but for the thing that I think I like about it is that it has helped alleviate a lot of the fear that I have. Granted, most of the fear probably was I wouldn't have had because I don't remember any of it, but that's neither here nor there. The follow-up appointment the week after, I went in without like any, they don't sedate you or anything for that, and they don't sedate you for their initial appointment. They just do everything. So there was some initial trepidation there, in just sitting in the chair and having them like put the tools in your mouth and all of that. But I'm gonna have that's expected. So I'm feeling better about it, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I'm getting better. And I'm happy with where I am, and I'm looking forward to what else gets done. But also, FYI, this was not cheap. That's the big thing. This is not. This was not a like, oh, they give you the gas and you're good. Like it's not an inexpensive thing, but getting a bunch of work done all at once for me was worth it. And my insurance did cover a lot of it, so that did help. But yeah. So that's me 20-ish years later. I guess is the best way to put it. That's me. Gary?
Interesting. I'm glad that you did it, and that in the end it was a positive experience, even if you were concerned about it or
Fuck out.
trepidatious.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That the fears are long stemming. I will say that much. And it was more of a fear of actually doing it, and then also a embarrassment of how long it had been.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Or at least you didn't have
Yeah,
your
I mean-
teeth removed.
Yeah. That was, and I hate to say it, could potentially be an issue. One of the things they did notice was that I have a lot of bone decay in areas, which you don't get back. Like you just so you know. So we'll see. It's still going to be some time, but I'm happy to have done it.
Right. No, I think it's fair. I mean, I personally haven't gone in quite a while, and I need to. I don't think I need the sedation aspect of it. I'm just trepidatious about going because I haven't gone so long, and
Yeah.
I have my own personal embarrassment about not going in quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
It is a thing, and that's the thing I think I liked about the team they were very surprisingly understanding. There wasn't any like, you know, there was some honest talk and honest conversation, which I like, and it wasn't. Um, there was a friendliness and a kindness to it, which I think overall benefits if you are embarrassed or scared or um, worried. Um, that did alleviate a lot of that. So, yay!
That is not the story I thought you were going to tell.
Oh, what story did you think I was going to tell?
For some reason, I thought it was going to be about your job, like you'd been there for like 20
Oh,
years or almost 20
oh
years.
no,
Or
no, no.
something.
True. My anniversary is technically November for work, but where am I at? This year will be 22. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
in November. And I've been with my company. Yes.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Gary, how about you?
I said hot and quick, and that is not because it was what you think.
You wish it was.
Just want to make sure I put that out there. It was a hot month, and it flew by fast. The beginning of the month, I took an extended weekend after a very busy month of June for the holiday weekend for July 4th. I'm trying to think if there's anything really specific that stands out within the month. It's just, there was a lot. I spent the month of July recovering from the month of June because in the month of June, I don't know if I talked about it in the last podcast. I worked like 100 and, what did I say it was? 150 some hours in 12 days.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was working like 14, 16-hour days or something. Anyways, 14-hour days. Yeah. So between the two jobs, and I'm glad that that's not the case. And there is a slight changes coming with my main job. Well, there's on several fronts, but my time of working is changing slightly starting in September, which is going to affect my evening job very minimally. So I gave them an advance heads up, like a good 6 weeks notice. Was like, hey, this is going to happen. I don't want to be late coming into my part-time evening job. Can we shift my schedule down? Which they already approved, so I'm very happy about that. So, yeah.
It's
So
so
it's
great
just,
when a
what's that?
it's so great when a job actually, you know, work with you and makes things happen. So the code's supposed to keep you on like on red, essentially.
Right. Well, so the one thing is, in this particular aspect, I mean, it is a smaller company. It's a mom and pop in a way, so they're good about things. Also, the person that I figured out was the kink in the chain was let go last year. They're no longer there as management, so that has smoothed out things because now I have two supervisors I've worked with since the very beginning when I started there. Both of them have become supervisors after, like, both of them were base level like me. Both of them moved up. Both of them like me. I don't have any issues. The manager also is like, who came back from another program as well, where like they've just been very supportive, and I think they like the fact that I'm helping them by covering some things that like other people don't want to do, which is working like evenings and weekend. So I think they're in the mindset of like, you want to do that, you go right ahead. Like, we appreciate that. I'm also low maintenance. I don't really have a lot of needs or a lot of issues. In fact, they even gave me a day off this month, even though it's a blackout. That I forgot about putting in until just this past week. And even though it's multiple weeks notice, I know that the month of August is a blackout. And as I was talking to my supervisor, we had a nice touch base chat. We're supposed to do it every couple of weeks, and we haven't done it in months. So it was nice to like get caught up on a whole bunch of things. And all of a sudden I was like, they were like, what? And I was like, I forgot to put a request for time off this month in. And they're like, okay. And I was like, well, I know that this month's a blackout, so I expected it to be declined. And the funniest thing I've heard in a long time was my boss was like, well, if they decline it, you can always call off sick. Which I thought was hysterical that they just called it out. Like they just said, you have an option you could use if you need to.
Yeah, I don't want to be that person. I mean, it's funny that they're saying it, but
Right.
it is kind of the truth.
But granted, they weren't wrong, but it's so funny. And then we had an honest conversation about how dedicated I am that it didn't even occur to me that that's a thing that I could do. And they were like, of course you could do that. And I was like, yes, but that's the thing. Like, I take my job seriously, so I always try to be there and be on time. And I had an attendance issue over a year ago because of the day job made some impacts. And so, I had some attendance, issues. And you basically accrue points, and over time they come off, and blah blah blah. And I
Yep.
worked at that, and so I've been good for like over a year now, and I was very proud of that. And that was kind of what I think my boss was trying to say. My supervisor was like, "Listen, you can afford to call off. Like you can take the hit on the points. Like you have options here. It's not the end of the world."
Right.
As it turned out, they approved it.
Good.
And it isn't my supervisor who does the approving; it's another level up. So,
Understood.
but I already got the approval, and I was like, sweet, yay! So, so now I can attend the work thing that I'm helping coordinate and plan, which is in the evening, which is where the impact is. So I'm like, oh, great. But I'm super excited about it because, speaking of that, with the work dynamic and stuff, this is something I've been working on for over a year. It's and this piece of it is very unique. So the statewide coalition I serve on, we try to get what's called stakeholder engagement. So like the people who receive the services, we want to hear from them, like what's good, what's not working, areas of opportunity, like problematic things, new ideas, that kind of stuff. So we're doing these engagements across the state, and I've been trying to get one in our region. And so there was some, and then there was a delay, and then a staff change, and another delay, and then a grant thing, and anyways. So now we're back on track. And an idea I proposed was, could we do 2 of these at the exact same time? One for the recipients, the consumers, the people who get the services, and could we do one at the exact same time in a different location for providers? Because I think what's valid that needs to be heard is the voices of those that are part of the process to provide the services. And that might provide insight as to like the pain points that they're seeing or feeling, or barriers and that kind of stuff,
Right.
that the consumers might not know. And so we were waiting, and we got approval, and that's what I'm super excited about, because my work is hosting the provider engagement session later this month. So yay. So that's the thing that we're going to be doing. And it's the first of its kind. Like, we've been doing these engagements for a while. I mean, at least more than 2 years, but this concept isn't new. It's been done in the past. But what's new is that we're getting providers to actually participate. So I'm going around a little puffy chested because I feel like I accomplished something at work.
Yay.
Also at work, things have been a little wonky. We have more reduced staffing. Some people have left. Understandably, some things came up, but we're really getting to the skeleton bare bones situation, and it's starting to stress the staff, because like everyone's got their lane, and then when someone goes out, either expectedly or unexpectedly, like it puts a burden on the rest of the staff, especially when we're not that well cross oriented.
Trained.
So like people are trying to pick up things at the last minute and figure out how to do certain stuff, and like the majority of the work that we do in our division called Community Health Services is responsive, like reactive disease investigation. So like there's a report of a certain set of diseases are called reportable diseases. They're communicable in nature, infectious conditions that we have to look into. And most likely it's because there could be more spread. So we need to figure out if there's an outbreak or those kind of things. So like as an example, like monkeypox is considered that, or MPX actually, mpox. Measles is another thing that's like been in the news recently. So that's an example. Hepatitis A. So like there's all sorts of different things. And the thing is, you kind of can't plan for these, like when they come up. You suddenly just have to pivot. And in some cases, like you have to move fast, because these can, I don't want to say be life threatening, but very impactful.
Right.
Especially to those that are more vulnerable, like if they have suppressed immune systems or certain medical conditions, other disease states, overlaps and stuff like that. So that's been a whole thing that's been happening of late. So that's probably why July feels like it flew past really quickly, because it was a lot of hustle. In the past 2 weeks, the hustle got harder,
Yeah.
more intense. So I'm hoping this last half of the year is not as challenging. So we shall see where that goes.
We'll see.
I'm just trying to not, get super bent out of shape,
Right.
And then I've got all the other stuff that I'm doing. I'm on, an advisory board for this group, and I'm the president of this, the union thing. And then insanely, I agreed to be the president of another new nonprofit
Gary.
because I'm a glutton for punishment. Well, no, it's a long time coming. Like, we were just discussing it today, and someone said to me, "What do you mean this hasn't been a nonprofit?" And we're like, "That's the point. It's never been a nonprofit, and everybody thought it was for all these decades. So we're officially like going through the steps to make that a thing. It's just always been a non like legal entity that has done this stuff for so long."
Oh.
And it's not so much about liability; it's just more about the formality and the succession to come in the future. Like, if something
Right.
were to happen to like the keystone person,
Right.
can the rest of us carry this forward? What does that look like? Like, is there a legacy plan? So that's like the long term project. So this is the beginning of that. And unfortunately, I've been active and involved in it for quite some time. And I say unfortunately because then when we were having this discussion about like who the officers were, it was unanimous as to who should be in charge.
Someone got voluntold.
Well, but yeah. So we had a recent quote unquote board meeting in which we went over all the documentation pretty much line by line. And I knew everybody wanted to murder me because it was one of the longest meetings we ever had. But the whole point was like to get that knocked out of the way. And like we have some minor edits, some things to be adjusted with the lawyers so that we can move ahead. So So yes, like it's the irony is not lost on me that a few years ago I got let go of my job. I did not work for over a whole year. I went through a pretty significant massive depression, part of like probably an effect of like PTSD from the job loss. And through no fault of my own, I mean, they shut down my whole division and exported it across, to another country, which we all kind of knew it was going to happen. Just the fashion and how quick it happened, or the timing of it was unfortunate. So during that time, like I didn't have anything to do other than honestly this podcast, which was like an anchor that assisted me in that time. But now looking back, I'm like, Jiminy, like I am so busy. So many things on my plate. So,
And
I will segue that
go ahead.
into another thing in just a moment. I'll circle back, but go ahead, David.
Okay. I was just going to say, because sometimes I feel like sometimes we like to be busy. Like, as someone who is kind of, I'm segueing in, I'm no longer the vice president of membership for the men's group. Someone took over that reign this month, or July 10th. And we had our last board meeting, and I was asked by our marketing person to get on the call because there was something that I had talked with him about that I was doing before I left, vacated the position. And he was like, "Let's talk about it on the meeting, and I would like you to be there." I'm like, "Okay." I was just like, I was kind of
You're
really,
like the meeting that I've been on for a very long time that I no longer have to go to.
right. But he was like, "Sure," and I made a point to be like, I got on the meeting, we got to his report, he brought me on, I talked about what I was in the meeting beforehand. He brought me up. I talked about what I needed to talk about, and then I was like, deuces, because I intentionally was like, and everyone was like, please, like, you should stay. I'm like, no. One, I don't want to be in the way of someone who is currently in the role. I want to let them have their report and such because they're technically right after us. And I was like, let me take a step back and step off of this call so that they don't feel that way. And also, I'm no longer here, and I don't want to like start taking control of something if I don't have to. So, and it was good. It was different, and it's going to be different come September when we get back into rehearsal. And I'm not the person anymore.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, I hear you
Yeah.
on that. It's
Yeah.
it is one of those things. Like, I'm well aware that I am probably reaching a tipping point of potential overload, and that I need to
Mm-hmm.
not take anything more on and potentially reduce some stuff. But I'm not sure how and when that will happen. But I mean, I already made a shift. Like, the one nonprofit I'm on, I pulled back intentionally this year, and I warned one of the other officers, or gave him a heads up, I guess, a better way to say it. Like, hey, I used to be much more active. This coming year, I'm gonna step back.
Right.
Like, so the way I used to be, because I just don't have the time. And like going to the festival this weekend, like for today, was the first time I've been able to do that with this other group in quite some time. But I feel like I need to shift a little bit of energy into being supportive of that, because of the work that's being done in it. So yes, 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 yes.
I'm in that. It sounds like we're moving on into Damon.
Yeah. So we have a new subscriber on YouTube. Welcome, Tay. TJR Films.
Hmm.
I'm not drinking, I
Thank you
swear.
for subscribing.
Uh,
Speaking of which,
thank you
if
for
you're watching this
subscribing.
on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ding that bell to get notifications.
There we go. And then we also got a comment on YouTube from Din Din Mushi 1356. He says, "My heartfelt love and condolences to you, Gary. Please know that their love surrounds you and their memories hold you until you meet again."
I'm
Thank you,
guessing
Din
that was
Din.
on our
Um,
last. What's going on?
Possibly.
I went back and checked it. I didn't see it, so I threw it in because I didn't want to skip it. So I
Right.
just wanted to make sure that was there officially.
Yeah.
And if it's a duplicate, my apologies, but it is well received. Thank you. It has been an interesting journey. I haven't really gotten into the grieving. I mean, I did a little bit, but like there's little random moments that kind of pop up. Like the other day, I saw somebody who made me think of my dad. That was unexpected.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not a bad thing, but I was just kind of like I did a double take, and I was like, oh right, yeah. Like, so, but I haven't fully dealt with all of his like physical stuff yet from his estate. So speaking of, as a complete sidebar, hey kids, so like if you're in charge of somebody's stuff and you take care of their bank account and it has auto payments, you should probably make sure when they're gone that you shut that shit off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you forget, and then you see how their account, which has nothing in it, is suddenly getting a deduction, and then like of course they're so polite, and the financial institution's like, we covered this but we're charging you. And so then you go and get a hold of this company and you're like, how dare you take this money, blah blah blah. Like, you did it once and you sent me a check, and then you did it a second time, and like, so I went totally Karen on them. And then they called me and left a very nice professional voicemail to tell me that it is an auto pay and that actually they didn't take the payment.
I mean, yes,
Mm,
but
So
no.
Yep. No. Who's the one who
so
initiates the draw of that payment?
they can't stop. You can't stop a payment from coming that they don't have control over.
Mm-hmm. But you could anyway.
So
You could. I feel like they could mark an account as the person is deceased and so that it doesn't take any more payment.
No.
well, no.
Stop
This gets
the
better.
auto
So they
draft.
sent me a check. They sent me a physical check for the first accidental payment, and it clearly says on it, policy terminated. Like as the reason that they're sending the check. But there was no other communication, and that would have been very helpful if they had included a letter that said, "Hey, this appears to have been an accidental payment sent to us.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, we're refunding you."
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I went all Karen on their click to chat bot and was like, "How dare you take out 2 payments and cause like an overage, and you have no way to like have an attached like picture of the extra fees, blah 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 blah." And then when I listened to the voicemail they left because I was at work, I promptly ate a whole humble pie
Yeah.
and logged into the online banking account and shut off the autopay. So
Good
that was
for
a $60 lesson, kids. 2 $30 fees. I had to eat the cost on. So I'm just passing it on to all of you as some wisdom. Shut that shit off if you don't need it there.
This is why,
Yeah, I
and this
usually
is
set up
me.
auto pay with the people who I'm paying instead of doing it through my bank.
Yeah, and I also
So
I
they
I
charge me.
don't like autopay.
Right, I with David. I had autopay a long time ago with a certain company, and they changed the fees and did not tell me before they did the autopay, and I was not as fiscally responsible then, and so they took out more than I was expecting, and I was
Mhm.
living very much paycheck to paycheck, and I was not happy, and I was like, I will
Yeah.
never do that again. So
Yeah.
I send it when.
With the
So
exception of
I
a
have
few
it set up.
things, I have most everything I have. I pay like on the first of the month. I pay everything all at once. Yeah, most of the bills I pay on the first, and then um, there are a couple of things that are auto pay. They are auto pay because that is the cheaper way for the company to do it.
Right.
Like, yeah,
And I'm just not responsible enough to remember that I need to do it. So I set it up to make sure it gets done, and just
yeah,
try to make
which
sure that I'm not spending too much. That when they go to draw it, it's not there. So it's
yeah,
my job
yeah,
just to
Right.
keep money in the account
yeah.
so that these
Fair.
bills can pay themselves.
Right. Ah, okay,
See,
that was
3
feedback.
different aspects of or
Fiscal
views of
responsibility.
fiscal responsibility. Yeah. Moving into some Patreon updates. Gary.
First off, we want to say happy 7-year anniversary to David T,
Yay!
one
Oh,
of our
I thought you were
patrons who's been supporting us for quite some time.
You've
Yay!
been doing Patreon for like 7 years. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm trying to think if I can find. Yes, 7. It's been actually 7 years because about March of 2018 is when we started. So yes, so we have some
Wow.
7-year people who have been with us the whole time. We very much appreciate it. They keep the lights
Thank
on, as we like
you.
to say.
Thank
Especially
you,
me,
patrons.
considering where all the hosting money comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Or is paid out of.
So many thanks to you, David, for your support. And in addition to that, we would like to give some big bear cub hugs to our patrons at the Cubster level, Charles W. and Michael K. At the Uber level, the illustrious Dave T. that we just talked about, Lee and Michael Q. And our buddies Lloyd G., Michael V., and Owen R. So thank you.
Thank you.
We
Yep, yep, yep.
appreciate our patrons. Um, yeah, you know how busy last month was?
Right.
Yeah, Gary, can you help us remember what shows we did last month?
So yeah, the list is short. Like the shortest I think we've had it in a long time. So episode 790 was the June What's Going On, and that was actually held late in July because we were away. And then a week later we did the Let's Talk About Sex episode 791, hooking up 25 years post millennium, which was a very much a reflective conversation about like what it's like today to have like some, you know, boinky boinky fun with people versus what it was like in the millennia change and when we were younger. And then we took a week off last week.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, I'm not bragging, but the fact that I had an entire Sunday was very strange to me because normally, like when we take a week off, like there's some scheduling or some things or whatever, and in this case, like I wasn't traveling or anything, so I was just like, wow, I have an entire day. I can do anything I want. I don't have to like plan. Like today, I had to run errands this morning, do a couple things, go to the festival, leave the festival early, come home. You know what I mean? Like, so I just felt
Right.
today was more of a standard kind of Sunday. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so we only had 2 episodes theoretically for the month of July, which is not 100% accurate because we did have an All Tea No Shade, the LGBTQ episode, but we did that at the very end of June, and it aired July 1st. So technically, we had 3 episodes in the month of July, but the way the What's Going On works out, it was 2. So yes.
And sometimes shows do get delayed posting for various reasons. I apologize about that. But sometimes on Mondays, especially, I get home and I'm like, oh.
It's a Monday. It is a Monday.
Well,
But
It's a
usually get it done the
Monday.
next day.
and I think
or
the
then
other thing,
sometimes Gary forgets to upload until too late.
well, and the other thing that makes it a crunch for those that may not know, Damon and I have a sub series that we do, Cubs Out Loud Drag Race, and that tends to take up almost a half a year. So, like, because there's 2 seasons, so when we record those COLDR episodes, we're basically doing 2 episodes on a Sunday. So that is also a factor.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot.
Like, and
We do a lot.
so, anyways, like that just ended, what, 2 weeks ago, I think.
Something
So
like that.
we don't plan to do any more for a while until there's another US episode because we're not all about that international stuff. Not to be disparaging, we just don't record to cover them. So
Hallelujah.
Yeah. In order to watch some of that, you probably have to go through a bunch of hoops in order to watch any of that international stuff.
Also that, and also just, I don't think we would be talking about them. I'm just going to be honest. Like, there would be a lot, and I think we're not going to go into that. No, we're going to stop. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to say anything.
So, anyways, we're at the stage now where we have a breather.
Yeah.
So that being said, yeah, it was a busy month. So we're just, sometimes you need a little break, need a little relaxation, a little chill.
Mhm.
So there's that.
Which only means one thing. It's time for
nothing but blue skies from now on.
All right, I'm officially disappointed that there was no face palm from Damon.
Damon has finally gotten used to the clip.
Acting, my dear. Blue skies.
Speaking
I
of
looked
that,
at the blue
Damon,
skies. I looked up at the blue skies in my office. Anyway,
what do you got?
so the first one is a joke kind of thing because when I signed into Blue Sky today to bring to create my links, this is the first thing that showed up, like that popped up, and it's from Ostentatious, who I follow, and it says, "Hey babe, I saw this Jesus Christ butt plug and had to get it for you. You want to get filled up in both ends by Jesus tonight?" Yeah. So that's that. So it's a very like Roman-esque Jesus painting or Renaissance-y painting on a butt plug. I don't think that butt plug is friendly. Should be inserted in the body. Just looking at it, but there's that.
I just we can't move on from this very quickly. I just need to state for the record, it's not a train wreck situation that you can't stop looking at it, but you kind of can't stop looking at it.
Right.
Because it looks like it's possibly decoupaged and like laminated or epoxied. It
Mhm.
kind of looks arts and craftsy, like someone made it at home. You would buy this at a fair or a flea market, or you
Right.
know, they might sell them on Etsy. I'm not really sure. Not likely because it's a sex toy. But they could be
They have
getting
sex
away with
toys
it
on-
as some type of like, you know, decoration. The gold applique in two different places on it is the part where I give pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if you epoxy it good and well enough on the very outside, that would not really be too much of a concern other than a textural layer, possibly. Also the cherubs on the bottom, with one of them looking up, which is the direction of the insertion. I just
There's so many
Damon,
layers.
a part of me wants to thank you for sharing this, and a part of me is actually not happy with you because you shared it. But I'm just
It
yeah. Anyways,
I don't think it's bottom friendly. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think unless it is very well like sanded and what have you, like that gold. If it's not done really well, that's going to be really really painful back there.
so the irony to me is when you said about it sanded, and for a moment I thought you were talking about the bottom was sanded, and I was like, what? So my personal opinion perspective is if you are a seasoned, well experienced bottom, this may be a challenge that you wish to tackle.
Maybe.
Yes. But
And we really don't know what it's made of.
No, we don't.
it could be
think
paper
what
mache.
Yeah, well, maybe not paper mache, but just the glossiness makes us think that it's more delicate, that it's probably not something you should be using in your butt.
No.
But it could also be some sort of plastic or
Yeah. This
rubber
could be
or
a
something that would be fine, and that texture could be under a layer. So it might be like a little bit of a transparent rubber or I don't know what butt plugs are made of, but something but positive. But it's so shiny, and it does look
Yeah.
like there's some transparency because that head almost looks like it's in the middle, not like wrapped around the edge, but it's kind of like floating in
I
there.
look at this and I feel like this is either porcelain,
Which is definitely not.
which would definitely not be butt friendly, or this is a again potentially like a wrap on something that is quote unquote butt friendly, and then glossed over to look like porcelain, or at least to give it that like look of the shine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
need
a
a
butt
video of
person.
somebody like maneuvering it. Just even if it's just with
Just
your
like touch it.
hands.
Yeah, you need someone to touch it.
Does it like if you bump it? Does it actually kind of like wobble like a normal butt plug, or?
I don't know. I just know for me, I'm not putting that up.
Or is it like?
I'm not putting really anything up my That's neither here nor there.
It's a little flick of it, just to kind of see.
Yes, give it a flick.
See what the. And see if it does the little like wobble, wobble, wobble.
Instead of is it cake, is it butt plug?
More like I think the question is, does it butt plug?
Does it butt?
Mm.
Will it butt plug?
Will it?
Stay tuned to find out.
Wow, that would be a good parody episode for us.
That would be a whole, no pun intended, that would be that would be a whole other type of episode.
Uh-huh. Okay,
we
I'm going to
ask
move
the
on.
age-old question: will it butt plug?
Oh. Anyway, I'm moving on.
Look, you were the one who picked this out.
I know.
Now you're regretting
And is regretting it.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. To a fan favorite, Skin and Earth. I titled this, fuck it, Making Eye Contact, and it's from Skin and Earth. And it says, "Love it when a handsome man makes eye contact when your dick is in his mouth." And it also has at Dylan Dickinson X as well. It's very Skin and Earth has been one of our consistent, blue skies and
repeat quote unquote offenders.
Repeat, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
well, someone has a certain penchant for them, so
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Very handsome
wrong
man.
With that penchant.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a video.
And
of
this
it
is
too.
really, yeah. Yeah. He's it's a very lovely moment, and obviously Dylan is also is very cute for a cubby kind of guy. Very cubby. Oh, that's more than just sucking. Okay. I think we're all
Don't mind us. We're all busy watching the video.
Yes. Yeah. It's only 30 seconds. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
Dylan is cute. Dylan's a cute little cub.
Mm-hmm.
An otter, he calls himself. Never mind. He's a cute little otter. There we go.
I haven't heard that term used in a long time.
Right? He says on his profile, Dylan Dickinson is a verse pig otter being slutty. Come along with me on slutty adventures. Lover of all bears and daddy.
Nice.
Same. Yeah. So that's mine.
The funny thing is, at one point in time, I referred to myself and actually still had the username of Box Puppy. And at the time, I and this was like late 90s, early aughts. I consider myself a puppy, which was kind of like, because what the child of an otter is a pup.
Mm.
So like bear is to cub, is otter is to puppy. That's what my original thought of that term was. And then pup play came around.
Pup play got popular. I'll put it like that because I think pup play had been around for a while, but pup play became its own thing. I'll put it like that.
It became a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
So those were mine. I need to close this video so I stop watching it. Gary.
So I have two. The first one is called Safety Blows. We may have talked about this video
Mhm.
YouTube series podcast before called On Guard Salon. So this is Mr. Christopher and Pop Amp and the Cigar Pig and Mr. Bannon. Like, there's a series of individuals that are involved. Anyways, they talk about different topics. This one in particular, I wanted to draw attention to. So there's an account at safetyblows.bsky.social. It's a grassroots nonprofit initiative to empower queer people in marginalized communities to do better to protect themselves, given the changing environments that we're in. So it's pretty cool that they talk about this concept of like using whistles for safety, like when you're in a public arena, and what that does and what it means. And there's a whole program. It's a great video to watch. So I highly recommend people check it out. If you're interested, you could reach out to the gentleman that I forget his name at the moment, but you'll see it in the video. He is the one that's being interviewed, and he talks about how he came up with this concept and how it could be adopted in other communities that are out there. So I just wanted to promote that. But the On Guard Salon is a leather kink, basically video podcast that they put out talking about various topics, and they've been much more leaning heavily into the like political arena of things. And what I like about it is that it's very educational from a historical perspective, because most of the individuals, all the hosts, are of a certain age, and so they've lived through the AIDS epidemic and ACT UP since that up to today.
Mhm.
And so they have very valid and important opinions to bring. They also try to be very cognizant about the changing of times and owning trying to change with those times and the challenges with that, because
Right.
language changes and society changes, and how do you address that? Like, they did an episode where they talked about uniforms and like what that means in the context of today versus before, and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Like, so if you're interested in leather kink things from a certain perspective, I highly recommend you check out On Guard Salon. And then my second one is called Ethernet Surge Suppressors. And this is a cheeky post because this is one of my internet heartthrob, lustful individuals. This is IntelliBear. And I followed him for many years. I first, I think, discovered him on Chatterbait, and then followed him on social media items. And he and Galileo, his husband, seem like very great people. I have a parasocial relationship with them. And IntelliBear is a bit of a naturist nudist and has no problem showing himself off. And what's cheeky about this is, so I'll read you the caption. It says, "We had some super close lightning strikes from a pop-up storm yesterday and burned out 6 Ethernet surge suppressors between the house and our work-from-home offices / my work lab. These little $35 insurance policies protected tens of thousands of dollars of equipment. So look into them if you are a network nerd." So it's very techy. And there's a picture of said Ethernet surge suppressors. Mm-hmm. And in this picture of these Ethernet surge suppressors is Omar, which is the name of his penis, which is a beautiful, thick, big, full dick.
Omar is beautiful.
Omar is very popular and very well liked and very appreciated by many people, both in person and virtually.
I am not.
What surge suppressors?
I am now.
So, IntelliBear is very cheeky.
I'm kidding.
In how and that's why it says, like, I love the fact that it's such a serious post and such a good like message for people who are tech minded and want to save things at home and stuff like that. And the way that he delivers it is like, look, you should spend money and get these things. But the way he draws you in is totally through the pervy adult aspect.
He's doing a PSA and he wants you to draw your attention to read it. And what better way to do that than by putting your fat cock on display?
Yes. So if you go through the comment thread later, he explains, he says they're totally worth it. Now this is very nerdy. I don't know what all this means. These are DIN rail mounted, simply grounded to the utility, the branch circuit. I also have some pole fed, blah, 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 like not that kind of pole. But so for the nerds that are really into this, like it's right up their alley. So, but No pun intended again. Wow. Anyways, so it yeah.
Yeah.
So educational and adult.
Yes. I love it. Like one of the comments is, my God, your cock is mouth watering, and it says, thanks, it can be eye watering too. And I'm like, bitch, shut up.
But that's why we like Intelliware, because he's silly and funny that way. And I have seen it in action several times, not in person. It's on my bucket list. But anyways,
Yeah. I he does have. I didn't know that. That's good to know. Sorry. Um,
are we to
reading
move
thing.
on
Sorry, I was reading. Don't mind
to
me.
Link?
I'm looking through his page. Anyway, moving on. Moving on.
Moving
Please
on
move
into
on.
the links. So hey, you guys know about like SimCity or like Civilization? Those type of city builder type games. Well, have you ever thought about it, about playing one of those games and being like, what if it ended and then it had a restart? And it just constantly did that in a much shorter period of time than spending days upon days building your towns and cities. Well, there's a game that recently launched. I don't remember exactly what it was, by Ermite Games, a small indie studio called Against the Storm. It's available on various platforms: Steam, Xbox. I think it's available on PlayStation. I don't remember all the places that is, but it's what's referred to as a roguelite city builder, where you basically, this world, it's set in a world where this big storm, I can't remember the specifics about it. Hold on. Let me get the
So the description, which I think is a really good one, says a dark fantasy city builder where you must rebuild civilization in the face of apocalyptic rains. As the Queen's Viceroy, lead humans, beavers, lizards, foxes, and harpies to reclaim the wilderness and secure a future for civilization's last survivors. So my outside perspective interpretation, which is going to probably not sound very nice, and it's not meant to be mean or anything, is it sounds like SimCity mashed up with fantasy, and I'm really surprised this hasn't been done already or sooner or whatever, because I'm like, I totally get it.
Don't be
Very
surprised like something has been done. But what's different about this is, um, it's a series of, you're constantly, you build up and you reach a goal, and that set ends, and then you start off with a new settlement. And during these periods when the storm isn't ravaging, you go out and basically try to explore and rebuild these seals, which are further out upon the map, but you can only go so far at a time. So you have to set up these settlements to kind of like train out to get towards one of these seals. You have to get you get rewards for each time you complete a settlement, and get the pieces you need in order to uh, set up a seal to basically to push back the storm, against the storm. But you only have a certain period of time to do it in. And then at a certain point, a cycle ends. Everybody basically evacuates the settlements that you had set up, go back to the safe haven of the Citadel, the smoldering Citadel. Is it Citadel or City? I don't remember. It's actually, I've been off the game for like a week or two. I got distracted by another game. But and in that city, you can, based off of your achievements and things you've done, you get resources that you can spend in the city, so that on your next expedition it gets a little bit easier. And so it's this cycle of going, trying to make a successful settlement, maybe um, fix one of these seals, and then cycle back. And it can just suck away time. You'll start playing, and then like a few hours will have passed suddenly, and you don't even know why. You've just been doing settlement, then you finish it, and you just buy some upgrades, move into the next settlement, and just continue like that. And you can do it on the lowest difficulty, which will just take longer to get everything done. To progress further, the higher the difficulty that you set it, the faster you can get through things. As long as you have successful settlements, that is. And it's just fun, just kind of planning it out. You can pause things, you can activate, and it's just really interesting. I like it. I really like it. I actually found out about it on Game Pass. So it's on Xbox Game Pass. So if you want to try it out without having to pay for it, on a PC, just open up the Xbox app, log into your Microsoft account, get Game Pass, and you can install and play it. Xbox, same thing.
Right.
It's a fun. It's this middle ground of like suspenseful or stressful, but kind of chillax. Like if you set it to the lowest difficulty, it can end up being pretty easy. And even if you fail a settlement, you don't get as much rewards, but you do get something, so you still progress. You still can get more and everything. So the nice thing about roguelikes is the more time you put into it, the easier the game becomes. And it has its own sets of challenges. There's all these different achievements. By completing the achievements, you get XP, which then gets you more rewards. You have access to more things when you go out and to establish your next settlement. It's fun. It's just this gameplay loop that's relatively chillax, and it's one of those things when something new where you have to make a decision, you can just pause, make the decision, do some planning, set up what you want your citizens, I don't know, remember what they refer to them as, who are part of your group, and then occasionally you get some more, you get some random elements like what blueprints you can for what you can build. So you kind of have to have this strategy of, hey, okay, I can do this goal, this order that the queen has given me. I may be able to do this goal. And it's just this interesting gameplay loop. It doesn't really have much of a story, but in this type of thing, it doesn't really, I don't think it really needs it. It has a background idea, like what's the conceptual thing, but there's no like huge story. It has some sort of story beats, tales about the history and lore, but nothing too major, at least that I've come across so far. I actually ended up just buying the game. I enjoyed it that much. So even if it falls off Game Pass, I can still play it.
Well, in online, I see that there's a promotion for 50% off on Steam. So it's only $15.
That's for the base game, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think it had an expansion or something.
Yeah. There's some add-ons and some other expansions and stuff. But I mean, seems cool.
Gary, what do you got?
So I have two things. One is not going to be a surprise to anybody. The movie Fantastic Four: First Steps just came out from Marvel. I loved it. I liked it so much I went and saw it twice. I saw it on opening night, but because of my second job, I was late and I missed like the first like maybe 6 minutes, which wasn't a big deal. It wasn't super pivotal to the rest of the movie. But I wanted to go back and like rewatch because I wasn't sure how much I missed, like timing wise, because the movie time is never the actual movie time. You know, you've got trailers and stuff. So like I was banking on like a good 20 to 25 minutes of trailers, and that wasn't quite the case. So I did end up coming in and like missing the first few minutes, and I wasn't sure if I missed like 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. Like I just wasn't really sure. So that's why I went back and ended up seeing it the second time so I could catch it from the very beginning, which I did. But knowing the movie now, I was paying attention to other aspects of things and catching stuff that I didn't catch the first time. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Like this is this thing, and so on and so forth. So I think Marvel and Matt Shackman and the cast and the crew, they did an amazing job. I really recommend, if you have been into the Fantastic Four and the comic books and Marvel and stuff, please go check it out. Like it is so fun to see a movie that is kind of a standalone, doesn't really tie into anything else. It's not an origin story movie. I mean, they kind of talk a little bit about that, but like it's not one of those like we're rinse and repeating. Yeah, it's just a good fun movie, and I really think people should go see it. I'm excited about their introduction in this version and what it means. And also, I'm a sucker for that retro future like aesthetic style from the 60s that they use as the design concept through the movie. So yeah, go see it if you can on the big screen. You're muted, Damon.
Son of a bitch! I've been talking this whole time. Not
Well, I wasn't sure that I saw your lips moving, and I was like, that's why I was like, you're muted, Damon.
no, it's like I was like, it sounds good. I've been going back and forth in my head about watching it, so maybe I'll take some time. I don't know if I will before it leaves, but we'll see.
I think I need to watch the full trailer. I put myself on mute so I can try to watch it on my phone.
Right.
And I only saw like a minute or two of it. I'm not sure about it. I
will
don't
say
think
this.
it's necessarily like the story or anything, but the look. That might be a slight problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. I did go back the second time I watched it on discount night, which I haven't done in years. It was a lesson for me personally to probably not do that again, but that's because it was very busy in the theater and full, and the person behind me kept hitting the chair, which is very annoying, and I felt like they started doing it on purpose.
Ooh, gross.
So
I hate that.
yeah. I'm used to going out opening nights like late to a late show, so there's no children in the audience, and it's not necessarily very busy. And that's the way I like my theater, and that was not the case when I went to see the second time. But so I was talking with a coworker about it. They went and saw it. They loved it. And we were talking about the movie and stuff. And then I told them about my experience, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go back on discount night, but so, or I just need to be a little bit more strategic about it." That being said, I do have a second pick. This one is probably unlike anything from before. So I'm going to briefly take you on a journey to explain something. There's a website and a program called makeitdo.org. So a number of years ago, there was a heyday of bear community podcasts that existed. And there was one called the 619 Bearcast, which was based in San Diego, California. One of the hosts, his name was Brian Hill. He unfortunately passed away due to cancer a couple of years ago. His dear friends and family created this program called the Make It Do Scholarship, which is an awesome program that they do in which they get donations when it comes to his anniversary of his birth. This year he would have been 52. So that that being said, they created the scholarship, and it goes to this place called Apple Farm Arts, which is in New Jersey. It's an institution that was created in 1960. It has a commitment to radical inclusivity, gender affirmation, anti-racism, and supports LGBTQIA plus youth. So it's a sleepover camp experience where they get to be young artists and explore theater, music, writing, visual arts. It's very cool. In the first year, they raised over $5,000. Last year, they raised over $11,000, which let them send 7 kids to the camp.
Nice.
So they did the program again. August 1st was his birthday, so it just was the other day. When you make a donation, so their recommendation to donate is to match his birth year or like the age. You don't have to do that. You can choose a different amount. You can choose any amount you want or a higher amount. So for each $4,000 raised, it covers a 2-week art camp scholarship for a youth to be able to go to the program. And then Matt, who was a very dear friend of Brian's, actually this year moved, which is wild because he sent this email announcing the stuff. I'll just read a bit of his announcement email. This year, I relocated from California to New York State, and I have been spending time at camp throughout the summer. I've helped out with photography, ceramic classes, swept the dining hall, checked campers for lice on check-in day, supported staff in a variety of other ways. They even let me use the riding lawnmower, which was like driving a pod racer from Star Wars. Because he's a geek.
Nice.
I've also seen wonderful public art take shape, watched new games invented on the spot that only 7-year-olds could possibly understand, and witnessed a level of fearless creativity I wish my own college students still had. Experiencing camp with multiple angles, from board service throughout the year to being here sweating in the humidity with the campers, has been incredibly moving, and it's a powerful thing to witness their experience up close. The space they've given to be fully themselves fosters deep and lasting connections. I often hear from campers how much they love being here and how the experience gives them strength to get through the school year. Given the current administration's impact on the LGBTQIA plus community, it's more important than ever for these kids to have spaces where they can be fully themselves, not just tolerated, but truly celebrated. Historically, our community has had to carve out places to simply be, often bars or clubs like the one that Brian and I worked in. They worked in a bar in San Diego. And that many of us have relied on for connections and new friendships. But imagine if we felt that same sense of belonging and joy at such a younger age, which is exactly what these campers are experiencing, and it's magical to see this. So I wanted to share it with you. So I just pass this on. If you're interested, you can make a donation. Again, you can make any amount of it as a program. It's I don't want to say the first of its kind. To me, it's the first of its kind. I've never seen anything like it before. Being a supporter last year was really cool because Matt did this thing with Mike. So his friends went through some stuff, and apparently Brian had an infamous oatmeal cookie recipe, and they sent everybody the recipe who donated last year. So you got a beautiful like color card, and it had an actual image of the handwritten recipe. And I love how Mike and Matt and them were like Brian was specific but not specific enough about the order and like some of the steps. So we've done many iterations of this recipe over and over again to get it right. And so that they tell you what they think is the right way to do it. I made the cookies several times. I took them to work. They were a huge hit. People didn't know the legacy and the story behind it.
Right.
I met Brian when I went out to San Diego. I actually was on a podcast called He Said, She Said, which was friends of theirs, Aaron and Ophelia. It was a magical time in my life. I was celebrating my anniversary of being cancer-free. So it was one of those like kind of wish fulfillment things to take a trip out to the West Coast. I'm still in touch with some of those people that I've met out there. When Brian got undiagnosed and he was with his partner, his fiance Joey, it was a really hard thing to see. And so a bunch of us have created this community that remember Brian, and this is one of the things that we do. So I just wanted to like put that out there into the world. If you're interested, check it out. You don't have to do anything, but it is a great like cause. And I love that Matt is carrying it forward. And I was totally surprised to see in his email, he's like, I moved across the country and I've been very active in doing stuff at the camp. And I'm like, say what? I'm like, that's wild. But so awesome that he's really super engaged in it. And the reason I kind of bring it up is I was thinking about like how I've been really thinking about it the past couple of days because I have it on my calendar, like in my budget, like I'm going to do it. And what occurred to me is I would be so honored if somebody did something like that if I was to leave and not be here. And that's the part, like, Brian didn't plan this. Like, it wasn't
Right.
something he put in his estate. It wasn't something he asked for. It was entirely made up because he is who he is, was. And so, you know, the logo is a well-known picture of Brian at a beach carrying a flag, a pride flag that's been done by an artist. And the reason why it's called "Make It Do" is that's his most famous phrase that he always said. And what it means is, and they help explain on the website, this is life. You need to deal with all the good stuff and all the bad stuff and accomplish what you need to. You make it do.
Mm.
And it was something that he notoriously said all the time to people, especially when like people were kind of commiserating and sort of complaining about things, and he would just say, make it do, like, as in find a solution, change the thing, fix the problem or whatever. But he wasn't ever mean about it. Like, he was incredibly like gracious and kind. So I just wanted to pass that on since it's very timely, and it just was the other day with Ryan's birthday and stuff like that. But so if you're interested, you can check it out. You can go to makeitdo.org. There's stuff you can learn about Brian. Also, you can make a donation, click through, like I said. And then Matt tends to send a follow-up later on about like what the donation was, how much was raised, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to see how this year goes, and I'm hopeful that we raise more than we did last year, send more kids, give them more experiences.
Nice.
Nice.
That's it.
Well, with that, that's the end. Plain ways to contact us if you want to be shouted out on the show. Let us know your Blue Sky boost. Send us a link. Let us know that you donated to make it do. You can do that plenty of ways, such as going to our website, cubsoutloud.com, leaving a comment on the blog, shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com, leave us a voicemail at 361-COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Tumblr, YouTube at Cubs Out Loud, the appropriate place of URL. You can also join our entourage chat on Telegram at bit.ly/telegram-COL. You can check out when we're planning on recording these shows by checking out our Google Calendar at bit.ly/calendar-COL. You can get various accoutrements over on zazzle.com/cubsoutloud, such as a made to be, a what the blank says these days shirt, or a consent is my foreplay shirt. Some of the designs were designed by Smashy. You can find more of his work at tpublic at tpublic.com/user/smashythebear. You can also become a patron of us by going to Patreon at patreon.com/cubsoutloud, which one of the perks is you get access to a mega feed, which has all of our shows posted there, which includes COL Drag Race. So everything is on there. And includes our pre and post shows. So if you don't catch us live, you can access it on Patreon. You can also send us a donation at paypal.me/cubsoutloud. You can find us on all the podcasting platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and Spotify. Find me, well, I'm on the internet sometimes. Damon.
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCub79. That's TheaterCub79 on most related sites, and apparently on Tumblr, which as I'm looking down. Or you can find me as Pup Umbra79 on Blue Sky. That is not safe for work. For the safe for work stuff, you want to go to DMA Gamer79 on Blue Sky or TikTok. Gary?
You can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gabber73. I've been a little bit more active recently on Blue Sky if you're interested, don't get it twisted. If you go to Gabriel73XXX, which is my adult profile on Blue Sky, I took the dive and I decided to do an NGL. So for those that don't know, there's an app that you can get, and so people can anonymously submit something and then you reply to them. And so I've been doing those. I pinned it as my top post so that people can learn some things about me. It's interesting as an experiment because you don't know who the people are that are submitting things, and they ask, just all sorts of random different stuff. And some of it is very thought provoking, like because you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know the context of the question, so you just have to answer it. And what I realized is there are multiple ways to answer questions, so it really depends on your mood and the moment and what you're thinking about or what's going on.
Right.
But I've seen a number of other people do this particular thing, and so I thought about it. And so for those that don't know, NGL stands for not gonna lie. So you're in essence truthfully answering anonymous questions that are submitted to you. And it's interesting, like to have it as an item. There's one person that I follow that like posted, I don't know, 5 months ago, and they just keep answering new questions as they come up about stuff. And so people can ask you about your thoughts and your philosophies, why you do certain things, what you do, all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested, you'll find that on there. And of course, you could probably submit a question and then wait for me to answer it.
With that, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.